What's good, guys? Welcome back to All About Arsenal. And today, I want to discuss what the whole Benjamin Sesko saga means for Arsenal. And it's so important that as Arsenal fans, we shouldn't just be thinking about what our club is doing alone, but we also have to be considering the impact and decisions of other clubs and how that actually affects us as a club. As we know that Liverpool right now, they are doing some silly things in the market. The players they've bought, Ekitike, Kerkez, Wirtz, they are doing massive things in the transfer window. And obviously as Arsenal fans, comparing their window to ours, even though we've got more players through the door, I kind of think their transfers are more potent. There's a strength, there's more of a statement behind their signings compared to Arsenal. And as we know, they are in pursuit of Alexander Isak, and getting Alexander Isak over the line would be the cherry on top. I think as an Arsenal fan, it'll be pretty much done unless we get Eberechi Eze. If we get Eberechi Eze over the line, best believe I'm not afraid. I believe with Eze, we can go toe to toe with Liverpool without a doubt. But there's this whole saga about Benjamin Sesko, and I want to discuss, and let me know what you think in the comments, how this affects Arsenal. And it's a chain of events, and let me begin to break it down. There's been talks that Man United have now submitted a 75 million euro bid plus 10 million add-on for Benjamin Sesko. Personally, I think that's a bit much for a player that's not proven. He was in the Bundesliga. I believe he scored about 13 goals. I know it was under 15, well under 15. And for him to command that type of price, it just goes to show you that centre forwards, classic number 9s are a dying breed. And they're in such high demand that obviously you've got Benjamin Sesko being going for that amount. And that's one of the reasons why Arsenal prefer to go with Victor Gyökeres, which I still think was a beautiful piece of business. The only reason why Sesko can probably command that much because he's got a higher ceiling. Although some people say that his style of play is similar to that of Kai Havertz. He's tall, strong, imposing figure. He's got good hold-up play. But let's see how he does in the Premier League. And I'd love him to come because now you're going to have Sesko, Gyökeres, Isak all in the Premier League. And it raises, the bar, the value, the prestige of the Premier League, even though it's the top league in the world already. But Benjamin Sesko, what does this mean? Now, as I said, Man United have now joined the race along with Newcastle, and Leipzig must be licking their lips because obviously they love a bidding war to happen. They can hike up the price, but ultimately it depends where the player wants to go to. Early indications is suggesting that Sesko wants to go to Manchester United. And let's be honest, I'm not too surprised, and I believe he would. Despite Man United finishing 15th, the fact that they can still bring in Cunha, Mbeumo, and possibly Sesko, you have to give respect to Manchester United. They are a massive club. Despite the fact they're doing so poorly, the thing is their heritage, their history, who they are. Alex Ferguson, the players that's come from them over the years with his Giggs, Cantona, Scholes, Keane, David Beckham, the list goes on. And they've got history for winning things such as the treble. So we can never discount or put Man United to the side. They're in a team on a rebuild. So this probably suggests why it's probably a good fit for Benjamin Sesko, because they're on the rebuild. He can be the star attention. He'll be the star of the team. But I equally believe if he went to Newcastle, the same thing. But Newcastle doesn't hold that prestige of Benjamin Sesko. Newcastle, on the other hand, they are in a stronger financial position to actually get Benjamin Sesko. But I believe if push comes to shove, he's going to go to Man United. I think it's a better prospect for him. It's easier for him to settle in. Even if he doesn't bang straight away, people can easily say, is his first time in the Premier League. Although, check it, Victor Gyökeres is not going to get that same grace. He has to hit the ground running, and I believe he will. So why am I talking about Sesko in this video? Let's begin to go deeper. Man United getting Sesko is a great thing for Arsenal, and let me begin to explain why. We all know that Isak has thrown his toys at the pram. He had the thigh injury and now was not able to actually join Newcastle in their pre-season tour. Talks is that he's back at St. James's Park and he's training, so forth and so forth, which is good for him because now I think a little bit of that spotlight and attention has to be taken away from his conduct, and all of the attention is now going on Sesko. And if he's clever, his agents should actually keep it like that for him not to do anything else to rock the boat. Right. Sesko going to Man United means that Newcastle are going to hold on further to Alexander Isak. They are not going to let this guy go before getting a replacement, and a suitable replacement. And Benjamin Sesko would have been the person who would have been literally a like-for-like swap. I don't want to say like-for-like because I'd be talking rubbish, but they believe he commands that the stature of a centre forward they'll be looking for. In comparison, if they went for Wissa, they'll still have to go for somebody else like Watkins and Wissa. They'll probably do a double deal for both of these guys. But if they went for Sesko, Sesko would have been it. Also considering his price tag as well. So if Sesko goes to Manchester United, Newcastle are not going to let go of Isak. They've made it very clear. I believe they turned down 120, was it 120 or 110? I don't even know which one it was. But it was a bid well over in excess of 100 million for Isak. They've rejected it because it makes sense from their perspective. They've got Champions League football now. They've already lost Callum Wilson as well. Do they also want to lose other players in the mix, especially your talisman, your main person up front, who's arguably the best centre forward in the Premier League? That is Alexander Isak, and nobody can actually argue with that. Newcastle are not going to want to let this guy go easily like that. So they're going to look for a replacement, and Isak was the guy. Sesko was the guy to replace Isak. He goes to Manchester United, which I think is more likely. They're going to hold on to him, like I've said. So what does that mean? The longer they hold on to Isak, the less likely he goes to Liverpool. Although I do eventually think he probably will, but Newcastle have to bring somebody through the door. What has really affected him is the fact that they've received some huge rejections. They were rejected by Ekitike, and I do think it was a mistake for Liverpool to do that to Newcastle. They should have let him go to Newcastle. They would have had free reign for Isak, and I believe personally it's a mistake, but let me know what you think. Right, they shouldn't have come and hijacked the deal for Ekitike. They should have allowed Newcastle to take him, and they would have got Isak. Because what Newcastle would have probably done, they'd say, okay, cool, we've got this guy over the line, take Isak, we can actually use that money, and Isak can actually strengthen with a Wissa or an Ollie Watkins. But they didn't do that, and I think that was not clever by Liverpool. But anyway, it could be for tactical reasons that are far beyond me, but let me know what you think in the comments. Now, all of the rejections that Newcastle are getting is not a good look for the team. It's actually showing that they're not a desirable team to go to, and I don't believe that's a fact. I do think they're a good, stable, solid team, but it just goes to show you that no matter how well you're doing in the Premier League, if you don't have that prestige, that pull, like the Chelseas, the Arsenals, the Man Uniteds, the Liverpool, it's going to be tough for you, it's going to be difficult for you. We know that Wissa wants to go to Newcastle. He's also throwing his toys at the pram and having a bit of a cry and a hissy fit about it all. Brentford have already lost Mbeumo, their best player, and they also lost Norgard to us, their captain. They are going to do everything they can to hold on to Johan Wissa. And likewise, if they lose Wissa, what are their chances in staying in the Premier League? So it makes sense for them to hold on to Johan Wissa for as long as they can. And if they cannot hold on to him, they are going to command top dollar. And I believe they might even go to the excess of 40 million. And it's going to be something to Newcastle. Listen, we lose this guy, we are in a real bad place. Would Newcastle be willing, out of desperation, to overpay for Johan Wissa? Would Ollie Watkins also want to come? And I can't remember how Aston Villa did, but did Aston Villa... I think Aston Villa just missed out on Champions League. I can't remember. But will Watkins want to come, especially with nobody wanting to go there as well? All of these things, it sends an aura, a message about the team itself. So this is why I think that Isak might end up staying at Newcastle. And some people say, oh, it's not going to happen. He's still under 3-year contract. They can still keep him for another season. They can offer him another contract for a year, an extension, and put something in his contract, a release clause that after the year, he's able to go. This is their Champions League year. They are going to want to hit the ground running and do something in the Champions League. They could actually give him a 1-year extension, however you like to describe it. They can put a release clause and promise him in some type of way that after the season, you can leave. I have no doubts he's not going to have another wonderful season. Bearing in mind, he doesn't get injured. 2 years left in his contract, they'll still get a good amount for him. It might be 100 million, it might go down to just about 100 million, but they'll still get 100 million for him. best believe, even though he'll have 2 years on his contract. But Newcastle might see it 3 years. This is the most amount they can get. He'll be historical for the team. He'll be the richest record-breaking transfer amount ever. So there's so many things riding on this at this moment in time. But the way it's looking at this moment in time, Sesko goes to Man United. Newcastle are not going to let go of Isak. They don't care. They don't care. And at the end of the day, they're the guys who made this guy. They bought him for, I think, under 60 million. So even if they were to sell him next season, they will still get over 60 million. They will still make profit over Alexander Isak anyway. But you have to think about now, what are their priorities? Their priorities right now is stability in the team. They need that stability. But let me know what you think in the comments. So what does that mean for Arsenal? With Isak staying potentially at Newcastle, which I doubt, but just indulge me because this is football, it's unpredictable, anything can happen. It only means that our rivals, Liverpool, are not going to be as strong as they could have been if they had Isak. If they had Isak, it would be terrifying. So it's in our best interest that Sesko goes to Man United. So you can see the chain of events. By him going, there's a least likely chance that Isak goes to Liverpool. And some people might say, oh, I don't care, bring it on. Listen, nobody, I don't care what no one says, nobody wants their rivals to be strengthened that much. I certainly don't want that. And I'm sure Gooners don't want that as well. So yeah, do you see a scenario where he still goes? And that's the thing, is that even if Newcastle get Wissa, would he be enough for them to let Isak go? No. If they get Watkins and Wissa, but check it, teams are going to know that Newcastle are desperate for a centre forward, somebody to replace Isak. And those are some big shoes to fill. So what do you think teams are going to do? Opposition teams, rival teams are going to hike up the price. They are going to extort Newcastle because they know, right, if he does go, they're probably going to get 130 odd million. And Newcastle already know this. So they are caught between a rock and a hard place. I do see a scenario where Isak stays, and that is good for Arsenal. But let me know what you think in the comments. We're playing what did I say? Villarreal. I said Villarreal. I can never pronounce it properly. I'll be at the game tonight, and hopefully it's a good one. I pray that Gyökeres starts, and I want to see Noni Madueke and see what he can bring. Hopefully he starts on the left, and let's see what he brings there. Hashtag Eze to Arsenal all the way. And until the next video, peace.